Hey everybody. So this is our little sandbox where you will during the hackathon type in your code and where you can do some practicing. And I'm going to just do some basic, and I say basic, I mean this isn't basic if you don't know it obviously, but it's some straightforward coding just to introduce a few concepts that will be helpful for you to try to do the coding challenge. What I have in mind for the coding challenge for the hackathon, because most of the people who are participating are beginners, I'm just envisioning that we do some HTML elements like headers like this, images, and then I'm going to have you change the look and feel of those elements with what are called style tags or CSS, cascading style sheets. And then if if you buzz through the challenge and you have time left in your 60 minutes, then you can add some what's called JavaScript, which will enable you to change colors, make things move around, make things spin, do all kinds of things. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a document, meaning like I have the Emancipation Proclamation here, the Gettysburg Address, and I'm going to say I want you to create a page where that document looks a certain way just with your own code, your own style tags and whatever, and I'm going to send you, and there may be a link on this page by the time you watch this, I'm going to send you a cheat sheet with codes. So things like this H1, which makes this image here, or this H2, which makes this image here, the CSS or style tags where you can change what font it is, or you can change what color it is, or any of that kind of stuff. And really what's going to happen is you're going to get a challenge and you do as much as you can. Okay, at the end of the hour, you're going to submit your code, and if you are able to just have one H1 tag, one header tag in here, that's where you are. If you're able to do lots and lots of code and be able to add some JavaScript, great. But basically, let me just delete all this stuff. I put this in here for you to look at. Here is the body of the document, and it starts with these tags with the greater than less sign. You have HTML, it says here's the body, and then in here you start putting your tags. And so what I'm going to do is just show you how you can put the code here on this side, and then if you click show page, it will render that code over here. So one of the first things that I'm going to just show you is this H1, which basically is a header. If you've ever used a Word document or a Google document, they have these header tags. So you can say, hello, hackers. And as long as it's in between a correctly formatted H1 tag, then it will show up here. Okay? And they have H2s. I think it's all the way down to H7 in terms of they sort of have their own sort of startup size, and that's if you don't know any code. Parents and teachers, and it will just automatically put it onto a different size based on what header it is. But you're going to see that you don't need these because you can make things look however you want with style tags. So I'm going to do what's called, I'm just going to type in the text, hello, and you see it just shows up here. Now that's good, except that everything with coding is about what are which element on the page are you talking about. So I really need to identify it as an element. And we have a thing called a div tag, which is just it divide, the things in between these two tags is divided somehow. So it's an element that we can now respond to. And I can say this is a div tag. And what's cool about this is that you can say, okay, now I can say I want this particular piece of code to have a certain style, and I'm going to say I want my style. So whatever I put in here is going to be the style. And I want it to have a color, which is the attribute of this particular element. I want the color to be blue. And then I'm going to end it with I do color, colon, and then the value is blue with the semicolon. Okay? So you see here I just changed it. Now that's pretty small, and I don't like that to be small, so I want to make the font size to be equal to 30. Now 30 what though? Well, I'm going to use 30 pixels, and pixels are the smallest dot on the screen, and so it's pretty small. So 30 pixels is still big, but like this is probably 10 pixels high. So I want it to be pixels, and I'm going to have to abbreviate that as px, right? Show page. All right? So that's cool. Now I can say, all right, I can assign this particular piece of text these particular attributes and then a value for that attribute. And that is basically a style tag that I can do. Now, what if I want, I don't want to necessarily, every time I type out text, I don't want to necessarily have to put in all these things. Well, what it allows me to do, well, let me do it this way. It allows me to create what are called classes. So I can create a class. It's called blue text, and this can be called whatever you want. This could be called banana text. Okay, it doesn't have any. All it is something that you can now reference in the future. So now banana text is something that I can reference. Now, I already have these kind of what are called inline style tags, but I can actually take those out, and I can put them down here in the document and say, you know what, anywhere there's banana text, as a class, I want to put in these attributes and values. Now, you see what I'm doing here? I'm kind of formatting it in such a way where it's going to look good and it's going to be easy to what we call debug, which is to figure out what's going wrong. So I say banana text. I use this curly Q bracket and this curly Q bracket, and that's above the regular brackets, which are right next to the P key on your keyboard. So banana text, I want anything that has banana text, color blue. Anything that has banana text, I want it to be the font size this. And what's cool about that is I'll just do that again. And let's just say it's great to see everyone. So now I have two different items. Both of them have the class banana text, and each of them I'm telling the browser to give that a specific style, right? And that's what this is. I'm telling the browser, I want you to use this style, anything that has banana text on it, to give it these attributes and values. Now there's one thing I'm missing, okay? In HTML and style tags, you have two different things. You have things called classes, and that's where you have, if you have an element that you're going to use multiple times, right? Like banana text, I want it all, anything that's my banana text, I want it to have these attributes, but I might want to have 50 banana text elements on one page. So I would use what's called a class. But there's another place where I might want to use something called an ID, and that's if you only want to do it once. So this is going to be my main header. And so, hello, welcome. So my main header, I'm only going to have one of those on a page, okay? And this comes in later on, but you can basically have exclusive items, which you use IDs for, or you can have, repeated items, which you use class for. But the style tag needs to know which one it is. You can have a banana text ID, and you can have a banana text class. So for a class, you indicate that with a period, okay? Period banana text. We'll tell it that anytime you have a class with the name banana text, you want to give it the color blue. And IDs, you use the hashtag. So hashtag main header. And that's important because the browser's dumb. It's very capable, but it's very dumb. It's just going to do what you want it to do. So I'm going to say color equals red for a main header, and I'm going to click Show Page, and you can see that it does that. Now watch. If I said hashtag banana text, then it wouldn't know what to do. What? I don't know what are you talking about? This doesn't make sense to me. And so you fix that by making sure it's appropriate. Okay? So in your coding sheet, I'm going to give you lots of style tags that you can use and attributes that you can use. And your first coding assignment is basically going to be to take the document that I give you and to make it look cool, all right? And that's one of the assignments that I'm going to give you. And I think I'll probably do one more video, which is going to introduce the concept of using an image and then using an image as a background and then a little bit of code. But this will get you started in terms of coding. And then I will give you a link to some like colors that you can use and some fonts that you can use and some additional elements that you can use. And again, this is a sandbox. You can just play around with it. All right? So looking forward to it. See ya.